R.A.T.S, that is Racing Against Time for Students in Pathology. And we shall continue the rat race in GIT. A case history. A 65-year-old male, non-vegetarian by food habits, presented with complaints of constipation on and off. In spite of medication, his condition worsened with loss of weight and bloody stools. The surgeon advised a special X-ray followed by an endoscopic examination. Subsequently, a biopsy was performed and sent for HPE. This is a radiological picture. We shall be reviewing it later. What is your diagnosis? Discuss the etiopathogenesis, morphology, microscopy, and mode of diagnosis. Enumerate the predisposing conditions, add a note on the sequence, and support your answers with appropriate diagrams. And these are the marks. This was the surgically resected specimen. And your diagnosis is colorectal carcinoma. And the importance of this is given in this oval enclosure. The structure of this answer shall include the following headings. And as I usually say is, think of the subheadings. The subheadings will take us to the answer. The general features for the sake of completion. High in the United States, UK and Europe. Low in Japan and India. Common in the age group beyond 60 years. Uncommon less than 30 years. And male-female ratio is 2:1. It is generally considered a disease of affluence and the socioeconomic standards. We shall see why it is so. Coming to the causes, this has been asked as a question. One can be a dietary etiology. There is a low content of unabsorbable vegetable fiber, high content of refined carbohydrates, and a high fat content. And in general, the reduced vegetable content causes an increase in the transit time, as a result of which there is a stasis and carcinogenesis takes place. Normally, the bacteria break down the complex animal foods, and this helps in the formation of carcinogen or co-carcinogen, leading to malignancy. Whereas there is a decreased risk in some of these dietary factors itself, such as a high fiber diet, vegetables, fruits, antioxidants, and folate. These will be causing a decrease in the colorectal carcinoma. There are certain other predisposing conditions which we shall mention. Polyps. There are different types of polyps. That itself is a question. Adenomatous polyps, familial polyposis. This is one condition wherein there is a 100% chance of a malignancy. Diverticular disease, again stasis, can lead to various complications and malignancy. IBD, inflammatory bowel disease, particularly ulcerative colitis. These are the predisposing conditions which we shall and will have in mind. And there's a beautiful picture from the web path of familial polyposis. Count the number of polyps. If you are going to get this in one particular segment, imagine what the patient will be having throughout. There can be even more than 1,000 polyps. Please follow this diagram. It is given here intentionally. A normal mucosa is diagrammatically flat. Sometimes there can be what is called as hyperproliferation, increased growth, and it gets transformed into a polyp. Initially, it is an adenomatous polyp. It can be small, it can become large gradually. But later on, there is a factor of dysplasia that develops in the polyp. So there is a dysplasia. Still, all these are benign. It is not malignant up to this one. But later on, you find that this area of dysplasia can encroach into the fibromuscular stroma. So there is an adenocarcinoma that is developing in an area of dysplasia. And finally, it can break the muscular layer and invade the walls, leading to a frankly invasive carcinoma. So this is the sequence, have it in mind. And this is a superb diagram that you people shall and will draw. You find that this red region is an adenocarcinoma because it is invading the fibrovascular core. This is a normal adenomatous polyp, a benign polyp, whereas this area is a normal mucosa. And this is a muscular layer that we people are seeing. So please draw this. It is a must. This also is a little complicated, but it has been asked as a question. What are the genetic factors in colorectal carcinoma? The normal epithelium we had seen in the diagram earlier, this is subject to a gene called as APC, adenomatous polyposis of colon. And when there is going to be an abnormality in the regulation, it will go to the next stage of dysplasia. And even yesterday, I was listening to an oncologist, and he has mentioned that this KRAS oncogene is involved in 25% of the malignancies elsewhere. If it could be controlled, then we can stop the malignancy. That was his saying. So dysplasia, it leads on to an adenoma initially, and later on the P53 or the growth factor, when it fails to regulate, it can go in for a carcinoma. And finally, there is a metastatic cancer that can develop. There is a gene that is called as the mismatch repair gene. All these help in the transfer of the benign to the malignant tumor. Development of malignancy, kindly explain. So these are the things you people should remember. Adenomatous polyposis of colon related gene, KRAS oncogene, P53, the growth factor, and DCC, deleted colonic carcinoma suppressor gene, and the mismatch repair gene. So many genes are involved. Please by heart this. I have simplified it and given it to you. So these again I am mentioning. The tumor suppressor gene is located in chromosome number 5 and it is called the APC or the adenomatous polyposis coli gene. There is a mismatch generally between the damage and the repair. Usually there is a damage but it is repaired. But when there is a mismatch, it continues to grow. And there is also a mutation in this gene, which can lead on to a malignancy. Initially, there is a dysplasia. Finally, there is an adenomatous transformation. Followed by the RAS oncogene I had mentioned, which leads to mutation and loss of the growth factors control. And there is also what is called as deletion of the growth factor in colorectal carcinoma, mutation of the P53, all of which can lead to an adenocarcinoma. So these two slides, the previous one and this, I would like you people to kindly by heart, practice and write. It will make your answers excellent. The other causes are a low dietary fiber diet, alcohol, smoking, anaerobic bacteria which can turn mutagenic, and reduced antioxidants such as vitamin A, C, cabbage and cauliflower. That is also called as a red meat. This the Western countries are having as a bulk of their diet and hence this can prone weight because there is a lot of stasis of this food in contact with the mucosa, which can lead to a malignant transformation, unlike these fibrous diets and vegetables. This diagram shows the distribution of the colorectal carcinoma. 2, I have given it as block because in the sigmoid colon, this is the sigmoid colon and the rectum, 24% and 34% together constituting the maximum. And another region of high percentage will be the cecum and the ascending colon. So this will be it. Cecum and the ascending colon about 22%. These two are the areas where there will be a high incidence of colorectal carcinoma when compared with the rest. There are two morphological variants. One is on the right side, that is the area of the cecum. You find that it can involve the cecum or the ascending colon. Generally, this tumor is large, but since the cecum is also equally large and spacious, it can accommodate the tumor. As a result of which, the patient will not be having any symptom of constipation, the tumor grows. There is another lesion on the left side, which is ulcerative and infiltrative, producing a napkin-like constriction in the sigmoid, rectosigmoid regions. And it produces constriction, therefore leads to an early diagnosis. We shall see the pictures. Look at this one, the cecum and the ascending colon. There is a large fungating cauliflower-like growth, but then still the patient is not having symptom because of the capacious nature of the cecum. This is a normal mucosa over here, and this is a necrotic friable growth that you people are seeing, pointed out by the yellow arrow. This is another picture that we had seen earlier also. You find that it measures several centimeters in diameter. And this is a normal mucosa over here. 60 to 70% of the malignancies occur in the rectosigmoid and the sigmoid colon. And there are the two gross types. Again, it's a repetition. One can be ulceroproliferative and fungating, and it occurs in the cecum and ascending colon. It is less symptomatic due to the capacious nature of the cecum. Hence, the diagnosis will be delayed, prognosis is bad. Whereas, in this case, there has been an ulcer over here, and then it spreads circumferentially. This leads to a fibrosis, and you can appreciate that there is a constriction in this region. There is also a loss of the mucosa, as pointed out by the white arrow. This is normal. And look at the extensive size of the tumor itself. So on the left side, it presents as a small elevated button. Later on, it leads to an ulceration. Eventually, it encircles to produce a napkin-like constriction. There is a narrowing of the lumen. Hence, constipation will be one of the early symptoms. And when they put in a sigmoidoscope or a proctoscope, they are able to make a diagnosis confirmed with biopsy. There is no histological difference as such, but it is only the early diagnosis that helps in the better prognosis. A higher magnification of the same, courtesy radiopedia. This is a super picture. We shall be coming to this in the game also. So normal mucosa, tumor, napkin-like constriction. Microscopy. What are the types of the adenocarcinoma? One, it can be irregular glands, as we are seeing in this space. The glands are irregular and they are infiltrating. This is a normal mucosa with the goblet cells. Another variant is the signet ring cells. Rare tumors can be squamous cell carcinoma or adenosquamous carcinoma. So this will be the microscopic variants of the malignancy in the carcinoma that we see. A higher magnification of the same, I'm finding that the glands are irregular, that they are showing some kind of pseudostratification. I can count the number of nuclei, all the blue lines of the nuclei. Clear? There will be some kind of mitotic figures, and it is all infiltrating into the muscle. This spindle-shaped area is the muscle. How do I remember this particular picture? I should remember. I stands for irregular glands, increased layers, pseudostratification, increase in the size of the nuclei, increase in the density of the chromatin, hyperchromatic, increase in the number of mitosis, infiltration of the muscular wall. So I think you people will be able to remember all these I's. Please practice. The other variant, as I mentioned, is a signet ring. So this is a tumor and it is infiltrating the muscular layer. At a higher magnification, I'm able to see the cells. Take this cell for example. It is a round cell and all this pale area is the mucus. The dark one is the nucleus. It is pushed to the periphery. And this has the shape of a signet ring. And what is a signet ring? Anyway, this is being confirmed by means of a special stain, namely music carmine stain. There are some stains for mucus. One is music carmine, another is PAS, third one is Alcian blue. And this is the signet ring we have been talking around. So this is the emblem of the king. Those days they will not sign, just the impression is put upon. And it is towards the periphery. It has got exactly that appearance, hence it is described as a signet ring cell tumor. How to remember? Two common sites, rectosigmoid and cecum. Two causative factors, predisposing lesions and genetic. Two types of morphology, proliferating or cauliflower-like and infiltrating or napkin-like. Two histological patterns, glandular and signet ring cell type. Two prognostic factors, invasion, histological differentiation. Two routes of metastasis, lymphatic and vascular. I don't think anybody can make this more simple for you people. Please, by heart too. And this is the Duke staging, important for you in surgery as well as in pathology. This is the mucosa, the muscularis mucosa, submucosa, muscularis propria, and the serosa. And these are all the regional lymph nodes. Regional lymph nodes that we are seeing. Now, what is this classification? In A, I find that it involves up to the muscular layer, serosa is not involved, nodes are not involved. B, it involves the entire thickness, including the serosa. In C1, I find that there is the involvement of the regional lymph nodes along with the involvement of the thickness. In C2, the more distal and the apical nodes can be involved. This is the Duke's classification. It is important for you people, and this diagram also is fairly easy for you to draw. You need not draw so many of these pyramids over here. Make a simpler diagram and then represent it. Easy for you people to draw to score marks. Or draw at least this. So in T1, I find that it is restricted to the muscular layer, whereas in this one, T2, it goes up to the submucosa involving the proper muscular layer as such. In T3, the entire thickness is involved, and T4, it goes into the visceral organs as well, the peritoneum and the adjoining organs. And sometimes there can be a positivity of the lymph nodes as well. So this will be the staging. Please draw this. And this is another superb set of pictures I have retrieved from the net. This is a normal mucosa. I find these folds. They are called as hostrations. I find these folds. And there can be a fungating cauliflower-like growth, or there can be a constricting napkin-like lesion. Please distinguish between this. You should be able to describe it comfortably and also draw the diagram. And what are the investigations? This picture we had seen earlier. When a contrast material, this whitish material is barium, it is given. I find that in some area it is not filling the cecum or the colon because of the tumor. This is called as a filling defect. And because of that, the radiologist is able to make a diagnosis. And what they will do is put in an endoscope called the colonoscope, reach the lesion, and then take a biopsy out of it. This is a polyp, of course, but here there is a tumor. I find that there is a cauliflower-like lesion, and then they are inserting it. They can take a photograph, they can visualize it, and also they cut the entire lesion. It is a superficial biopsy, but I can make out the tumor and the infiltration. The biopsy is pinned and it is sent to histopathology for examination. What is the treatment as such? There can be a partial colectomy, laparoscopic surgery. Nowadays, that is the talk of the day. Colostomy for rectal cancer. They create an opening. Radiofrequency ablation, radiation therapy, chemotherapy, and targeted therapy. Targeted therapy, it will attack only those neoplastic regions and not the rest. So this again, you can make a list. I'm not an expert in surgery, but for the sake of completion. And these are the stages that we had mentioned earlier. You can draw. It's easy. Thank you.